So you know how every single race in the game has their own line of exclusive clothing that they can only wear and no other race can, like with the outfits for Majins, Namekians, and Friezas? Like, you know how Majins have their own thing, like the fun outfit, or Friezas with the Ultimate F outfit, the outfit with a bunch of spikes, and the Namekian outfit, right? Like all the different Namekian outfits that you have for Namekians. The same thing with Saiyans and Earthlings, right? Yeah, why aren't more of these in the game? Why?
But why? But why?
Wow, he's really gonna say that we need more race-exclusive clothing and accessories? What about Super Saiyan 4 for CACs?
Bro, I would rather have more customization options for all races in the game that opens the doors for more possibilities and how your character looks, over having yet another Saiyan exclusive transformation that's only made for one race. As I said before about customization features, they should add more of these with DLC, parallel quests, raids, and Festival of Universes. DLC because that would actually give people an additional reason to buy the pack, raids and PQs to make the race more worth it, even with RNG in the mix, and Festival of Universes because I would love to have clothing on my CAC that looks cool instead of an aura that you can only equip in the lobby. Speaking of that, it's so disappointing that you can't have a red special beam cannon, a purple Kamehameha, or literally any key blast that you can change the color of, or having an equipable aura in places where it matters in Xenoverse 2. Like, do I really have to say that this will make everyone's custom character so much more different from each other and further expands the freedom of making your CAC look 100 times more unique, and in terms of personality too, also upping that by 100 times? What I mean by that last one is if you have a Xenoverse 2 custom character that's like a villain or a final boss or whatever their title is, right, then it would make sense to give them colored moves that fit their color scheme and title. Or just because you simply just want them to have that color attack, right? This alone would give CACs much more depth and character if it were actually in the base game, and it should have been at the very start of the game from the very beginning. No question. In fact, I would even argue that it should have been at the very start of Xenoverse 1 as well, because both games are centered around CAC customization, so Xenoverse 1 should have did it first, and Xenoverse 2 should have followed immediately afterwards. Same thing goes for auras. And again, like I said earlier, it should be in places where it matters. All of the auras that you can get through Festival of Universes should be available to put on your CACs in battles, raids, and parallel quests. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it being in a lobby, but it's a huge flop for it to only be available in a place where everyone spends the least amount of time, considering the fact that there's literally nothing to do in the lobby. The idea of coloring attacks and auras should have been a thing at this point as well, and it makes no sense for the game not to have it, considering the fact that literally, like I said earlier, both the Xenoverse games, especially Xenoverse 2, the game that has gotten most support out of both of them, are centered around CAC customization. So it would be so cool and so dynamic to have different people's characters have multiple different colors of attacks or anything like that, right? Same thing goes for auras, and it doesn't even have to be the exact same textures either. Like, they can make up new textures and new textures for auras that exist with CACs to make them even more unique. Like, literally, just this idea alone would be enough to give your characters much more depth and actual character. Alright, so up next are some hot fixes that I believe should be in the game by now that would make the game infinitely less of a hassle when it comes to certain things. So these aren't going to be huge compared to the last one, but these are going to be features that I think would make the game a lot less annoying to play, or just things that the game needs. So consider it sort of a lightning round, and I say sort of in quotations there, because there's one thing that could go on for a little bit more than the others. I'm honestly shocked that for how small this complaint is, it's still not a thing that you can make happen in the game. It's astounding that you can only do that by deleting them and playing the game all over again, if you don't like the name or if you want to change it later. You can't even use the Dragon Balls either. The wish where you ask Shenron to make you drop dead gorgeous, you can't even change your name even in that option either. Like, there should be an option in the customization tab menu that allows you to change the name of your CAC. There's literally tons of games out there that allow you to change the name of your character at any point you want to. Seriously, how did they miss the mark on this for 8 years while constantly giving this game DLC over time? How is this not like a random patch or something? This is also something that's very annoying when it comes to making a new character in this game. Every time you decide that you want to create a new character, you have to play the story and unlock everything all over again. And this is obviously something that's very stupid, because sometimes I want to make another character. I don't want to replay the whole story again to unlock everything. Or at the very least, if for some reason you want to play through the whole story again, there should be two options of yes and no when it comes to the question of, do you want to replay the story? It would be super convenient for this to actually be a thing in the game without having to exit the game to play all the other characters that you made and other things that you unlocked under one CAC. Speaking of that, by the way, it's also very annoying to exit out of the game to change something about your other CACs. Like, if you want to put on a new skill, clothing, or super soul, or whatever it is on them, the only way that you can do that is by exiting out of the game and starting it again to choose your CAC that you want to change. And then once you're done changing everything about them, or whatever it is, you have to exit out of the game to play everything that you unlocked on your previous CAC, because you probably don't have everything unlocked on the one that you changed.
Pretty damn stupid.
There should be an option in presets or wherever that allows you to change anything about your custom characters while you're currently not playing them, whether it be changing their clothes, putting a new super soul on them, boosting attributes, putting a new accessory on them, or whatever it is, etc. And that's how you would be able to change everything about your other CACs without having to exit out of the game. There's no reason for that to be the case in reality. It would make 500% more sense for that to be a convenient feature, but knowing them, they're used to being the exact polar opposite of that. One of the most tedious things to do in this game is leveling up without playing different quests or battles to gain XP. The way most people level up their CACs is talking to the guy Tosoak in Conton City to level up, and it costs Zenny to go upwards in terms of levels, but the problem is that it stops costing Zenny around level 80 and starts costing TP or STP levels around level 81 to 160. That increases every single time it goes up in terms of leveling up. Now, you might go, well, what's the issue with that? It should cost more as you go up. I would agree if it costs Zenny throughout the whole way through from level 1 to 160, considering the fact that TP medals and STP medals are already a hassle to get if you don't want to end up paying for them. And let's be real, most people probably don't want to pay for them. They should just make it as to where you can get these medals just by playing the game normally while also increasing how many can drop, but I'll get to that later. The medals are also used for purchasing other things in the shops like loading screens, super souls, and some colorable clothing, despite how minimal it is. It might as well cost Zenny at this point, because it's way easier to get compared to medals if you run out of Zenny while leveling up, because you have a lot of things that you can sell for Zenny, like all the Hercule medal things that you pick up during Parallel Quest and other things that I'm forgetting. There's a lot of people that play this game that have a ton of Zenny and aren't using it for anything else at this point, so there's nothing else to buy in the shops that requires Zenny, and you're only finding things to sell for it, so it should be that it only costs Zenny and nothing else. Also, another thing that should change about leveling up is changing the user interface that appears every single time you want to upgrade to the next level.
Hey. 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 Hey.
You know, it'd be so much better. There, much faster, much more convenient. With the current level up system being in the game, it's the reason why some people, including me, don't have all their CACs at max level, because they expect you to do this 7 times with your other CACs that you have in the game. And it should go without saying that I don't want to spend that time grinding the same boring extra missions and raids just to level up the rest of my characters. You know, for you being the host of the lobby in 2v2s and 3v3s in this game, it's pretty stupid of not having the option to choose who's on your team. In order to get 2v2s and 3v3s to work in this game, you have to get it in this weird mixed match order where if the first person joins the lobby, then they're your opponent. And then when the second person joins, then they're your ally. And it's just that over and over and over again for the 2 other people that joining your 3v3, and the same works for the 2v2. The way it should be is when you're the host of the lobby, you should be able to choose whoever you want on your team. Simple. There are tons of games out there that have that be the option to choose who you want to be on your team. So it's beyond me that this game somehow missed the mark on that being a thing with the countless updates that this game has. It would be infinitely better to choose who you want to be on your team instead of having to kick people out of the lobby to get certain people on your team when it comes to 2v2s and 3v3s. I never understood why they didn't even make an attempt to increase the amount of CAC slots in the game, even after so many DLCs later. Not even like in a patch or something. Why is this a complaint, you ask? Because it would be nice to not having to be forced to delete characters or CACs that you made just because you feel like making another one. Like, what if you get a really cool idea for a CAC that you believe is the greatest fighter of all time and can solo all the characters in your headcanon that exist in the Dragon Ball verse and any verse to ever exist, and you want them to transform into, I don't know, Ultra Instinct Universe Tree Ignited Super Saiyan Green ×2 in your mind, and you want a visual representation of that in Xenoverse 2 on top of the CACs that you already made. But you can't because 8 is the limit on the CAC slots. More CAC slots should have been a free update thing a long time ago multiple times. End of story. I'm honestly surprised that this is not a thing in the standard game and only exists with mods, by the way, still. Like, I shouldn't have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways since it's not being said enough. In a game, a Dragon Ball game that's supposed to be about customization and custom characters and still gets updates even to this day, movesets for CACs should be one of the first things that should walk through the door when it comes to this game's release. Movesets are ultra necessary for making diversity be more apparent in this game. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen all the moveset mods that are made by all of the modders in the Xenoverse 2 community and thought, man, that would be so cool if they actually added that in a normal game. I would love to see my character with a moveset that uses a sword with a cool stance to go with it, or a moveset that only uses kicks to attack the opponent, or a moveset centered around how Goku utilized Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue in the Tournament of Power. What I mean by that last one is like, imagine a fighting style in Xenoverse 2 where you can transform into Super Saiyan God with your Awoken, and your moveset goes from normal to switching to Super Saiyan Blue at the very last hit to deal more damage at the last second, just like how it works in the manga and anime. It could also extend out to CACs having their own exclusive moveset. Like, imagine a Frieza race moveset that is inspired by the way Cooler fights and would actually make them viable online, because, let's be real, playing Frieza's online is practically impossible. Like, if you were to play a game, seeing how many flips you could do for how many times a Frieza race combo drops online, you'll find yourself doing triple digits in terms of flipping. Like, you would flip triple digits amount of times. What are the triple digits? Don't know, but you'll be flipping a lot of times. That's what I'm saying. Like, the Frieza race combos drop so much because their moveset sucks, right? So they would greatly benefit from that. And every single race in the game that doesn't necessarily have the greatest going for them in terms of the moveset department would also benefit from custom movesets being in the game as well. It's not just even about it like being cool or the movesets for certain CACs are supreme trash, so that's why it would be such a cool idea to add movesets in the game. No, it can also expand out to it being an option to introduce another way of playing all the races in the game instead of having them fight the same. Majins, for example, if they had a Berserker Majin moveset that changed and broke the mold about how people play them, or for Saiyans, right? If they had like a Fierce Saiyan moveset or something that's completely different from how the way they play the game, that will only not buff female Saiyans, but also give that will also give male Saiyans more variety when it comes to playing them. The same thing with male Earthlings and female Earthlings. They already have a decent moveset, but what if they had an additional good moveset that actually makes them different from how they originally play in the game? The diversity when it comes to the moveset idea would be insane when it comes to customization and having overall interesting matches. Because as of right now, literally every single race in the game fights the same. Every single one of them. They don't have a different moveset, they don't have a different thing that goes on with them or anything like that. They don't have a different moveset when they transform other than, I mean, the least that you can go is Beast, but even then that's just one combo string. And even then they can further experiment with that, right? They can add new combo strings into the new movesets to actually make them interesting and actually give people a reason to play the actual different CACs in the game. Like, that would literally open the door to endless possibilities of different play styles that people can experiment with and can actually be something new to look forward to every single time you play the game against other people. Instead of having it just be that most of the player base just plays the exact same because it's broken or they're too used to it and they don't want to change to anything else. Why would you not want variety and differentiation in a game that is supposed to be about custom characters and being different and adding your own unique style to it? Why would you not want that? Oh, because it's not broken. Oh, okay, I understand. I guess that's enough of a reason to not have that be a thing, I guess.